of Randomness. I'm Tony of Phantasmic Chronicles. I am here with Danny from Two Real Geeks and Miguel, the annual pass holder. This is a new show we're going to do where every week a random topic will be used. Tonight, Danny, what are we talking about?
The Mando.
The Mando.
Our new love.
The Mandalorian. Yes, obsession. Obsession from... You guys haven't seen it. What the heck are you waiting for? Get out there. Jonathan, what is going on?
Jonathan Chong. And don't forget, we're going to talk about Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
There's no Baby Yoda.
His name
No Baby Yoda.
It is not.
No.
It's a Yoda.
It is a reference that we are going to call him all night. Baby Yoda.
No. I have spoken.
No. I have spoken.
I have spoken.
Okay.
My wife's in the chat wanting to know where I got the Fallout shelter picture. It's right there.
So awesome.
That sign has taken on a life of its own.
Yes, that's right.
What's going on?
Welcome in, guys.
Welcome, everybody.
Michael, what's going on?
Where do we want to start with this? I mean, we are looking at it. The show The Mandalorian is 5 years after the fall of the Republic, or the fall of the Empire, and it kind of changes.
Sorry, buddy.
The fall of that.
Sorry, buddy.
Show respect.
Yeah, it's like here. There you go. Wait, there he is.
Just gonna bring that down right on your head.
Martini, thank you. It's not Baby Yoda. Thank you.
Do not agree with my wife. She'll beat me again.
We don't need that, especially not on stream. And it is Baby Yoda.
Okay.
Look,
here's a couple of thoughts that I have while we're on the subject of.
Hey, Mike.
How about Little Yoda? Yeah. Mini Yoda?
Does that work for you? Mini Yoda? Mini Yoda like?
We'll go Yoda-like species.
Okay.
Okay, let's look at this. The only thing we know about Yoda to begin with is that he's the only one of their kind we've ever seen. There's nothing in the entire Star Wars canon that tells us anything about where he's from, if there's any left of his race. And
exactly.
All of a sudden, here is a brand new Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And you know what? We need to get a hashtag. Danny likes Baby Yoda.
He loves it. He's literally...
No, he loves it.
Before we continue, he has blown up so much.
Good evening, fam. Mike Wheeler.
Baby Yoda's blown up. Who? Baby Yoda or Mike? Who are we talking
Baby
about?
Yoda has blown up. So much.
He has. But
I said for Disney, they need to go stamp so much merchandise about him.
Yeah.
Quick. The craze is unbelievable right
now. Well, we're talking about merchandise and the Mandalorian. Let's talk about how have we not seen any black series for the Mandalorian or anything come out? That they're always on top.
I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, they dropped the ball on
they definitely could have done something for this and it would have been profitable. So, look who joined us tonight.
Hey, it's Daddy Yoda.
Yes, we're talking about your child.
Oh.
Hey.
No, I have.
Child support is looking for you. No. You are behind.
That's right.
Kane. Oh man, I gotta remember how to.
I know way too much of randomness. Yeah, I'm not a smart man. Like Forrest Gump says, I'm not a smart man, but I know just enough about everything to be dangerous.
That's true. That's how I always operate. Versatility is king. Yes, you owe child support, Yoda. Get on it.
You're about,
Josh,
about 900 years behind.
So you got a pricey tag on you.
He goes, when you said you can't Yoda, he's like, whoa, wake me, you did. Hey Yoda.
Oh,
Yoda, what are you doing?
please keep him on the stream. How he's looking right at me.
We're 6 minutes in and we're already
Random.
taking a sharp right.
Oh my goodness. What did I
Is
hit?
it time to talk about the Return of the Jedi now?
I can't stop laughing at this Yoda.
You know I was gonna have a Yoda,
He's alive.
right?
I didn't expect it.
I would be
Yoda.
disappointed if you didn't have a Yoda.
Yes. Hey Tony, Jocelyn, my wife, mentioned in the chat, we have a Fallout shelter sign.
Yes, we do have a Fallout shelter sign.
It's right on his shoulder.
Oh my gosh, Leia was just with Yoda. Yoda moved and it scared the heck out of her.
Yeah, the Force.
This is actually the Yoda that does the saber training and you can force it. Oh yes, I know the Force is with us, Yoda. Thank you. Calm down. God.
He's correcting you. He's making sure you know.
I think Yoda needs a sleeping pill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a matter of flipping a switch on him.
Yeah,
so
they dropped the ball on it, and they can still regain. They can still catch up right now. The window's not closed.
They sure could, and they need to jump on that real quick because you got Christmas coming out, and Star Wars collectors will be all over that. Expect a little Yoda-like plushie. Yoda, I have no questions. Stop. God.
Danny, can I stop you for just a second? You won't let us call Baby Yoda, but
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Come on,
please. Let's not disrespect.
Absolutely not.
Well, he's an
alien Baby Yoda.
Form, is he not?
Don't disrespect Baby Yoda.
Where's your cat?
I just introduced my kids to Alf the other day. Boy, we are already off the rails. Okay.
Mike said Danny is breaking Miguel. Yes.
Jessica is laughing so
much right
now.
That's so bad.
It is pretty bad. When in person, Miguel, it's better though. I'll do it all data for you tomorrow.
All right.
Okay. Danny and Miguel.
Kicked off the media. Yes.
The Mandalorian. And now that we found out that there's a whole coven, do we think that they're all foundlings? Because originally they were all. Look, I got my cat over here trying to make an appearance.
Got up there. Yeah.
He's talking about the dark side, so he has to come back.
Oh, okay.
But
go ahead, Tony.
Goodbye, Yoda.
Danny, your knowledge is so much more than mine is, and I know my Star Wars, but not as much.
Right.
If what's left is all foundlings, what happened to the rest of them? Did the Empire crush them all out? Do we know? Do we know what's brought about where we're at now?
Going back, we really don't know what really happened to the Mandal race. We all know that the Jedi, all the Jedis were basically eliminated. The end of the Clone Wars definitely showed that, and they showed it brutally well.
Yep.
And I hate to say it, but realistically, I was upset that the Jedis had to go. I mean, I'm always on the left. Shoot, my Rebel Legion costume's a Jedi, so yeah, I'm partial to the Jedis. Realistically, though, now, well, there's more than others that go for the dark side. You'd be surprised, but
I know.
Realistically, let's go back to that. So now, bounty hunter, a Mandalorian, as a bad guy. Is a Mandalorian really bad?
No.
I haven't seen nothing that's shown it to be bad.
He just does what he has to, or they do what they have to do.
They do what they have to do to get money to support their family.
Correct. That's it.
Because now, do you know what gave it
they
a bad
are a
name?
total family.
Boba Fett. Boba Fett gave it a bad name.
Correct.
Boba Fett, he was just I don't know what kind of channel we're doing here, because now we're getting into sensitive matters for me here with Boba Fett, but in nice language, I didn't like him. I'm sure we can all imagine.
Did you really not like him?
Listen, him at first, but then once you learn, 1 year ago I asked for Chewbacca for Christmas. That is great. I love it.
Wow.
And on the fact you said that, we'll throw that in there.
Yeah. All right, so we're putting that in there. Cool. Boba Fett was a douchebag in my eyes, so we're going to put that in there. So we're going to make this over 13 rated. Okay. So he was a little douchebag. He came in, Vader, I got this. Well, you have other Mandalorians there, and then obviously we didn't know his backstory during this. Han Solo.
Correct.
Okay. Vader turns to him and goes, "You keep him alive." Well, obviously you have your prey.
True.
But then you go and watch the first set during the Clone Wars and all that, and you see Jango Fett and everything, and then it's like, well, you're cloned from him, and you turned into something where Jango Fett wasn't trying to do. Jango Fett was trying to make a good clone army. They were trying to make a good, because he was the strongest one. He was the athletic one, good soldier and everything. But then
was he a Mandalore? Was he a true Mandalore?
No.
Or was he a foundling? No. Do we know? I'm wondering if there was any true Mandalores. If they were all just brought to this planet.
Right. See, that's the thing, is they don't really get into all that and how the Mandalores really came about.
Not at all.
That's it. Like they live on their own planet, and okay, well, so that's how it all came about. It's like, what is your real like? All right, we're getting the same kind of information.
They should probably be touching on that.
I really hope so. I was hoping that the Clone Wars was going to touch into that more too, when they had the whole episodes with Ahsoka and the black saber and everything.
Yeah.
They didn't. Like, you were more concerned about bringing in these cats and then touching on the whole backstory. Jonathan, you are right.
I knew that was going to be.
Do have Mandalorians in them too, but it was more the Clone Wars that had the Mandos in there. I mean, anybody could have became a Mandalorian. Just as you had Wookiee Mandos. Well,
yep.
You never hear of that. Just as there are Wookiee Jedi, there are Wookiee Sith. You don't hear of them though, but they exist in the EU.
Yeah.
As far as where they come from and how they started, nobody really knows.
Okay. Now we're going to touch on something else that was brought up in episode 3.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What was Boba Fett's signet?
Meaning?
What was the signet on his armor? It was the mythosaur. It was the mythosaur.
Okay.
And it wasn't. The mythosaur is also.
Yeah. Every other Mando you see always has the Mando skull.
Okay. Here's a question we'll ask you. It's a callback to the newest Skywalker trilogy that's about to end.
Right.
Hey, Arjon.
Do you recall what's significant about this question I'm asking?
I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
No, I'm drawing a blank right now. Go on with that.
When they arrived at her outpost, what flag was flying above her outpost? It was the Mythosaur signet, which was Boba Fett's signet, which means that there's some connection between her and the Mandalorians. And I mean, what was she ultimately?
No,
she was a pirate.
I don't trust her.
I don't either, by any means.
Like, why did you have the saber?
We'll see, probably.
But she also had a lot of things that she shouldn't have.
But would you consider her a pirate, though? Here, no. Would you consider her a pirate or a scavenger? Because then, if you want to get into it, Rey's a pirate.
Well, that's true. That's you know what? I mean, when you consider Luke Skywalker a scavenger of sorts, I mean, he was basically piecing and parting droids together his entire childhood for his aunt and uncle. He was scavenging parts from Jawas who stole all their parts. So wouldn't he be?
I wouldn't consider him a scavenger as much as I would consider Anakin Skywalker.
That's true.
Anakin went and built 3PO and everything. Luke was a droid mechanic. He knew how to fix them. That's because he had the farm and they were needed on the farm. And look at 3PO. 3PO was Luke's dad. I mean, to get all those, he's like, oh, hey, don't touch that. He's not done. Well, he was working for a scavenger, living with a scavenger.
You know, and I'm seeing a lot of comments about we're going deep and everything. It's a world of randomness. We talked about this before we even started. This show could go anywhere at any time.
What's going on, buddy?
R. Johns, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for stopping in. I really appreciate it.
That's when he made it big time. R. Johns has stopped in. There you go, buddy.
Yes, that's right. I feel like I made it to the top.
R. Johns has never even stopped in any of my streams. Be honored.
Well, that's true. He's usually just getting home from Disney at that time.
Exactly.
The beauty of this show is, yes, it can go deep. It could go off the rails. Anywhere. It could be super random. Just don't expect anything. We may have a topic like we do now, but expect the unexpected.
Exactly.
Where do you feel that we're going with after this third episode? I know we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but I just watched it again, and I can't believe.
To me, it's going to speed up. It's going to start speeding up tremendously, and more is going to unravel.
What do you say? Where we're going to go, like in a physical place, or like?
I mean,
because I could tell you physically where we're going. There's a great story that can be.
Well, here's the question I wanted to ask, and I forgot all about it. Were we on Tatooine at first? Do we know the Jawas existed anywhere else?
I think this is what I think. The first episode, we were on the snow and everything. Okay, I personally think after the Rebels destroyed, I think we went back, as there was people that went there and said, "Hey, they lived here. They took care. They cleaned the planet out. Let's go live there." I think that was Hoth. So I think we started off on Hoth when we got that bounty and everything and all that. And we left Hoth, and you really don't see much other planets that have ice and snow on it. So then from there, I think the mission did take him to Tatooine when we came across. That's the only planet that you see Jawas on. There's no way in heck you get Sandcrawler and move it anywhere else with any of the ships in the Star Wars universe.
When do you feel like we're gonna know more about that? Because we talked about that at all. There's something that's making.
I'll tell you right now, angry. I think we're going to find out more coming up, because I looked at the IMDb for the show. There's a Jawa listed for 6 episodes. So I think a Jawa might be teaming up with him or becoming his enemy.
Wow.
Did Obi-Wan hide this creature?
See, again, honestly, I don't think
just
so.
your opinion.
I don't think so. This is after Vader's death, which is years after Obi-Wan died. You're going to tell me that
why do you think that?
Because Obi-Wan's mission and prime objective in life to look out after Luke Skywalker from a distance, and he did. He didn't really know that Yoda was on Dagobah. He went senile on Dagobah. Let's be honest, okay? Look at how he found him. He's like, I'm stealing. No, he's like, taking his cane. No, mine.
Well, yeah.
He went crazy.
That's the classic.
He went back crazy on Dagobah. There's no way around that. And then he realized who Luke Skywalker was. Snapped him. He's like, oh, yeah. Well, no, go, leave. He knew he couldn't handle that. So, put it freaky on somewhere else on the way to Dagobah, Or I'm personally thinking, you can say crazy or not, but I think Yoda species spawns as they die.
Well, that kind of goes in line with what I was talking about. What if they are some sort of asexual type being where they just or something that just comes to be?
They lay an egg before they die, and that's it. They move on.
I also thought about, they talk in all of the Star Wars movies, all 8 coming on 9, that the Force is a religion, basically. What's to say that Yoda wasn't really, in the Star Wars world, a prophet? What if this is the
theories about that
of the prophet? And I hadn't seen anything on it. This is some stuff that I had just thought about, and I was just talking to my wife when we were watching the 3rd episode.
Yeah. If you sit there and break down Star Wars as a whole, you can be like, yeah, this is definitely a religion, based going on here. But realistic, it's not designed that way. It's designed for, it's a space opera. That's what it is. That's what George Lucas designed it as. He has values in any of his movie. Raiders of the Lost Ark and this and that. Yeah, I get it, but it's not what he wanted for this. He just wanted something fun, different, and weird. And he kept it
found
that
that Jar Jar.
Jump off like this.
Hey, I don't mind Jar Jar.
You're the first one I found.
He's got
a place.
You got a second. You got a second.
Really? Now,
yeah.
When I was younger, when I first watched it, I liked the idea of it. But as I watch back on it, it doesn't have the same value to me as it did when I first watched them. The story made sense, and it made sense to have one of those characters from their world with them. But just the antics of it, I don't know. It didn't feel like it fit the storyline. This
it wasn't for Jar Jar, Anakin, and
because of how he was.
You're a dopey creature. You could sit here and say Yoda was a dopey creature too. People are bashing him. Jar Jar was smart. Jar Jar was very knowledgeable on government and everything else, and didn't want to take Jar Jar serious. They definitely took him serious in the movies. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, on council. I mean, realistically, somebody dopey like that, you don't see Luke Skywalker being put on council.
No, but
Jonathan Chong, is Yoda a phoenix then?
You get that, Danny?
Phoenix rising out.
Yeah.
I get.
That's a lot of years in between.
Yeah.
Jocelyn
like Jar Jar also.
I wouldn't trust Jar Jar in a room full of forks.
No.
I wouldn't trust Jar Jar in a room full of forks with outlets in the area.
Let me tell you,
he stuck his face in the pod.
Look, he's goofy.
Right.
He's odd. I get that, but that doesn't mean, like Danny's saying, he's not bright and intelligent. Just because physically you may not be able to do something, you don't need him to do things like that. So he knew.
So I changed my mind a little bit.
So here's the EU.
It was a different perspective that we needed to look at. Go ahead, Dan.
Jar Jar was only used to be on Senate. Okay. After the whole Clone Wars, do you know what happened to Jar Jar? You may not.
No, I don't.
Jar Jar was basically put out and said, "Thanks for your help. You're homeless now, and go live in this." He went and lived in a square, and all he did was try to entertain kids just to bring peace and joy to the people. Like, he would jump in the water fountains and stuff like that. You know, you go from living in the palace and everything, and then they kick your ass. Like, we're done with your knowledge. See you later. And basically, they used him to bring his army in. If Jar Jar wasn't as powerful as, people don't want to say he was, he wouldn't have brought in that whole army.
The whole army. See, they didn't take him extremely serious because of his crazy antics. And it's kind of like a representation, which Star Wars has a lot of real life type of things at times, lessons you can learn, like how people will use you for your gifts, your talents, and they may not take you all the way serious, but you do know your stuff. But the way you may come off, they don't trust you or believe in you after a certain point, so you're not needed anymore.
Right. So here's what I'm thinking too is, now we're speaking Clone War times and we're talking Mandalorian tonight. Opinion is, I think some of the Mandos came from clone troopers that went rogue. Realistically, let's think about again where or who was a Mandalorian. You got Boba Fett. Well, Jango Fett was a Clone War, was a clone trooper, and then his son was you see what I'm saying here?
Yep.
So realistically, all those Mandos troopers that went rogue technically were Mandalorians, I guess, because Jango Fett, they're all the same. They're all the same, but different names. Like that. I mean, come on.
Right.
You got Rex. Some of the clone troopers did go and stay with the rebel side. They, they didn't. Their, activation switch flipped. But yeah, and then whoever didn't go rogue became the stormtroopers.
Jonathan made a good point. His last comment. But yeah, that's interesting, Danny. I never even really thought about that.
Now, here's where we're going to make
that might be
a hard left. Now that we're on the subject of Jar Jar, do you know how the character Jar Jar came to be when Lucas was writing this?
Yep.
I mean, this is the full circle of where. Go ahead, Danny.
Jar Jar wasn't originally supposed to be sounding that way. I don't know if you realize that. Jar Jar was supposed to be like
Yep.
a normal creature, but the dude that came in to play Jar Jar, he was told, "Well, just read this," and then they were like reading whatever. It was like reading like a story that he would do for his daughters when he put them to bed. They're like, "Okay, well, how would you read that to your kids?" He was like, "Oh, so the voice that he is the voice on how he used to read stories to his daughters when he put them to sleep."
Wow.
And George is
that
like,
one I knew, but
"Yes."
I'm going one step back from that. George,
Mm-hmm.
when he pictured Jar Jar, do you know what he based the look of Jar Jar Binks from?
His dog.
Goofy from Disney.
Yeah.
Yep.
Goofy
He
mixed
wanted a
with,
character
a
that
touch of his
resembled
dog.
something.
Yep.
You know, Goofy was one of his favorite characters, and he wanted to have something in
Mhm.
Star Wars that resembled Goofy, which I
Yeah.
thought was an interesting story because you look,
That is very interesting.
you know, and then he sells it to Disney, and then he's mad at Disney for ruining his films, which, you know, if you're a purist, yeah, maybe you feel that way, but I think they've done it
Well,
justice
we
so
can go
far.
on to that now too. We can go into that too because Disney bamboozled him.
That is true.
Disney led him on to say, "Look, whatever we're taking from you, we're not going to change. We don't have to use it, but we're not going to change it." He was like, "Well, can you promise me that you're going to use something from what I'm handing you?" They're like, kind of gave him that like blank eye stare and the head nod, and so they led him on with thinking that they were going to use some of his original content going into what's going to happen to his story, you know. And he did not like where they're bringing this at all. And we lost Miguel.
I was going to say he froze up, and I was trying to. I was getting ready to start grabbing my phone. I was going to take a screenshot of that.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be right back. But they train railed him, man. In time. I mean, do I feel bad for him? No, you know what you were getting into.
Yeah,
You know,
that's.
do I like what this? I actually do. I'm not gonna sit here and it's. Look, you're gonna get your Star Wars fan, right?
Yep.
And this is what they're gonna be. Ruin Star Wars. Blah 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 blah. Okay. So in December, you're gonna go see the new movie? Yeah, I am. Oh, okay. But you don't like what you did it. You're gonna go see the new movie though, right? Yeah, I'm gonna go see it.
Yep.
Okay, sure. Let me put it this way.
So
It's Star Wars, so I'm gonna go. You know, I mean, really. Thank you, Jocelyn.
so,
But I mean, how do you feel about that?
I think that they did it justice, and I think that they've done a good job of filling in gaps where they filled in huge gaps with what they could. Because you watch the first three films, and where there's a lot of storyline, there's a lot of holes. And
Right.
Lucas was not worried about the holes because he, you know,
Yeah.
it's, you know, the story was told, and that was the whole idea of it.
Yep.
There wasn't a need to fill those holes. Now there is.
No.
Now Disney has to come in and fill in huge craters of story because there's no fan like Star Wars fans. So if you fail miserably.
Yeah.
And you're going to be hurt in the returns. So Disney, I think, has done a really good job of giving you a great storyline, great action, something to really look forward to every time a new one comes out. Oh, Miguel, I hope everything's okay. Miguel has no power.
That's crazy, Miguel. That's crazy. That's why you froze up.
Yes, it does. At least they didn't come through your house.
Yeah, this is true. I think Disney is doing fine, honestly. If they weren't doing fine, The Mandalorian would be doing so well if they weren't doing fine.
No, I mean, the 10 million subscribers in one day. And
just for The Mandalorian,
a
a lot of those have watched The Mandalorian.
A high percentage of that is because of The Mandalorian. I mean, they're not going for a live action remake of Lady and the Tramp.
No.
They're going to watch one and done. Now, don't get me wrong. The Imagineering story is probably I'm not going to lie, it's probably a better show because if there's so much more to it. But
you think
what
so?
they're doing
really,
with The Mandalorian, I think it's better because they weren't afraid. Have you watched any of it yet?
Yes. I actually watched all 3 episodes.
They were not afraid to talk about Black Sunday. And that's a rough story to tell, especially on your own network, on your own channel, and they didn't sugarcoat it. They told the whole story. And it's only got there's a lot of great parks around the world, but nobody designs, builds, and incorporates you into the ride the way Disney does. So, I mean, the world's most expensive roller coaster is Everest. It's that, and you look at it. The roller coaster itself was one of the cheaper roller coasters to build. It was the entire facade that was expensive.
But realistically, I mean, they dropped on a Mandalorian right now. That's one of the most.
Yes, we are talking about all 3 episodes in The Mandalorian and all sorts of stuff tonight.
Yeah, yeah, we're just all over the plane. Like I say, Mandalorian is probably one of the most expensive shows that Disney probably had to produce.
Yeah.
And costumes and let me tell you, the Mandalorian costume is not cheap. That is not cheap.
No, and after episode 3, it's really shiny.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He came out of that foundry really shiny.
Oh, he did. I mean, you want to talk about an awesome scene was when he got out of there and all of a sudden everybody's tracker started going off.
Yep.
Jess turned to me. She's like, "What's going on?" I was like, I'm like, he just broke into this place to get that baby and walks out and all of a sudden everyone was like, doop, doop.
Hi, Tracy. Thanks for coming in from Dole Whip Dad's channel.
Hey, thanks for coming over. Yes. Awesome. Tell me that you weren't like, what? You're on the edge of your seat.
Yeah. Yeah. All of a sudden, and
I know.
They didn't show him walk out of the building. They just showed all of them in the canteen, and all of a sudden you see one tracker just go. Whoop, whoop. Then they all just started going, and you knew. You knew that's exactly why it was going on. He was out of that building, and it was going to hit the fan.
There was a big bounty out for him right now. There was a bounty for him, one way or the other.
And old Carl Weathers. Yep. Thank God for Berserker.
I thought he was done. I
know. I forgot he had that Berserker seal.
He knew it was there because he was like right there. And his face when after that he was on the floor, he just gets up, he starts laughing. He was like, "Yeah, good shot."
Yeah, the end of it just tells you that things are going to get very interesting because it shows who he is.
it also showed at the end of that on how the Mandalorian family each other. It may not like each other, but when things hit the fan, they got each other's back.
Yeah, when he turned around and says, "You're going to have to move the covering," he goes, he was just like, "It is what it is,
He's
fella."
like, "Get out of here." Yep.
Yep.
What was her thing that they say? So shall be.
I don't know. Yeah.
So
No.
shall be it, or whatever. It's like something like it just a meaning or something.
Yeah.
But once they say that to each other, I was like, oh, we're on good
Tracy,
terms.
First of all, it's not Baby Yoda. We've decided it's Baby Alf, because that just makes Danny even madder. Here's Daddy Yoda, who is like 50 years behind on child support. The character that is the same race as Yoda, he is the one that's being tracked.
You must learn.
That's his cover pose, his album pose. Goodbye, Yoda. Go pay a bill. Go pay a bill. But
Now,
what do you think he's going?
if I say it, I don't think you're going. Well, I'm trying to figure out who this woman is. But I'll tell you where he's going first. The one you see in the previews. But right now he's going to go back and he's going to try and talk. What's his name? Khalil? Is that how you pronounce it?
Mm-hmm.
The guy that helped him find it. He's going to go back and he's going to tell him, say, "Look, I'm trying to do the right thing here. How about you help me out?" And I think there's going to be an episode of trying to convince him to go. I think you're going to see an episode of action, a slow episode. That's how episode 1 was full of action. Episode 2 was kind of slow.
Right.
Episode 3, boy, as soon as it started, it was go from,
and that's fine though,
minute 1 to the end. And I think that works well. I think it can work well every week. As long as they don't get into 2 or 3 episodes in a row of being really slow.
Walking Dead syndrome.
Too much action. Yes. That every
exactly.
week.
Yeah.
But we won't go too far with that, because then we'll really be off track.
Exactly. Because I can go totally into that.
Miguel, right here. Oh,
that's all right, Miguel.
One. Right here.
A watermill, something. Exactly.
We could do a candlelight Miguel stream.
Exactly.
Yoda is still back there talking.
Oh, yes, he's telling me a Jedi you will become. Save the galaxy.
Hey, before you say what you wanted to say, okay, you can say it now.
We had that up already. We're good.
Now you can say
it. Oh my gosh, shut up, Yoda. Now, no, Yoda, we're not using the Force right now. Stop. Oh my God. This is why I shut up.
Can you send Yoda over to Miguel's house? Maybe he can use the Force to power his equipment.
It's like he'll be No, Yoda. No, baby Yoda. You need the real Yoda over there, Miguel. Miguel, just use the Force.
Obviously, we have a few answers from just the previews. We know eventually he's going to be working with Khalil. I mean,
Oh
because
yeah.
they show a couple of previews where he's on a different planet actually with him.
Mhm.
So, what do you think it takes to get him to decide to do it? Because this guy is he's a peaceful guy, but yet he's very strong willed. He runs the show. I have spoken. You know, he's very matter
Oh
of
yeah.
fact.
Oh yeah.
And he
I like his
told
character.
the man, and he told the Mandalorian, you know, I've worked my whole life not to serve in servitude anymore. He goes, I live, you know, I'm free now, you know, and then because, you know, the Mandalorian says, I can pay you handsomely. And money was not a big deal to him. You know, it was, no,
Oh yeah.
I'm my own man. I'm going to live out the rest of my life here. I just wanted some peace.
See, I think
Now
here,
here's
because he goes to him, he was like, why don't you come with me? He was like, no, I'm good. And I think what's going to happen is he's going to go back to him with the kid. And he's going to be like, oh, like maybe like in his head, he was like, yeah, he's not that type of person where he's just going to go and trade this kid in. He's going to see that it's a kid. And he realized that the kid was out there and kind of led him to finding Baby Yoda just to save him. And I think what's going to happen is he's going to go back there with the kid and he'll be like, okay, I'll help you. Let's go. We got to move now though. And I think that's where the Jawa is going to come in. I think they're going to have a Jawa talent along with them, either good or bad. And I think maybe the Jawa, because these Jawas, you got to remember, Jawas are dirty, nasty little creatures, and they'll do anything they just to find somebody that, you know, to get on their side and say, okay, here you go, Jawa, here's this. You know, like, oh, the Jawa's like, we stole your parts. Get me that egg.
Yeah.
Or else, this is my stuff. This is your stuff, but it's my stuff now. Sorry, you know. But get me that egg, and you get it back.
What do you think he was before Khalil? What do you think he was before all this? Do you think he was a slave that was freed? Because the words "I live my life in servitude" already, you know, leads you to believe that. But he doesn't seem broken down.
Or I think maybe he was on council somewhere. Because you got to remember, let's go back and look at that council room. Look at how huge that room was. You don't see every council member there. Jess was also saying, realistically, there could have been another Yoda kind of creature in that room too. You know, you don't know, because that room, and it was a tall room too, with these floating platforms. You don't know who was really in that room. Look at all the different species, the ET species and stuff like that. And I mean, come on, there could have been a Yoda species in there with Yoda himself.
Does it make you wonder why they were holding the creature, Baby Yoda? These bandits.
No, because he's force sensitive.
And were they bandits? What's that?
No, I don't think they were bandits. I think they were hired. And you got to remember that it was anything force sensitive was worth money, especially on a turn in, you know.
But they weren't allowing anybody to collect bounty on them. So I mean, they could have turned him over to anything. The guy that hired
a good bounty for them could have been security. True. I turn this back over to the Republic, or the rebels. Let me turn this back to the rebels. They're going to protect me now.
But there was no need for the rebels and Republic anymore because the Empire had fallen. Now, something that
did it really fall though?
Did
it really?
Well, that's the question I'm asking right now. Was this a
Death Star exploded? Was it really over? The Death Star was just a spaceship.
But Darth Vader was also dead, and Palpatine, well, we know now, at least we think we know now, is still alive.
Really dead?
I think he's dead. I think the laughter we hear, we're going to find out, is a spirit. Just like Yoda, just like Obi-Wan appeared to Luke several times. I think we're going to find out, and I think we're finally going to get some answers, maybe not a complete answer, of how Anakin came to be. I think that's why Palpatine is going to pop up here.
Well, we know how Anakin came to be. Well, I mean, you're talking about found on Tatooine.
Well, no, the theory is that Palpatine used his power to form Anakin in his mother's womb, almost an immaculate conception.
Right. I don't think they're going to get much in a movie. That was more the EU comic books and everything. This is Disney we're talking here right now. You know what I mean?
You don't think they'll touch that at all?
I don't. I think that's a little too controversial to get into. I think legit they brought just to try to get people to come back to the movie and say, yes, we need to see that. Like every movie, like there's that. Yes, that's happening in this. Like they brought first, let's break it down. The first movie, okay, they introduced new characters. They introduced Rey as you know, and they introduced Finn. I gotta see that. There's new characters, and let's see this, you know. Second movie, people raging, blah 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 blah. You know, no Skywalker, this and that, blah 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 blah. Okay. Well, back. Yes, I gotta go see this. Luke Skywalker's in this. Woo! It sucks. Oh no, the movie sucks. Okay. Third one. Well, why do we want to see this movie? The last two, but I'm not saying this is everyone, but this is all those negative Nancys out there. Okay. So the next one, this third one coming out, Palpatine back. Well, before that, you were like, oh, this is going to suck. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it. Oh, Palpatine's in it. Yes, I got to go see it. Palpatine's back. Disney knows what they're doing. Fucking you back in. They're hearing what you're saying. We got to throw something in there and get them back in. Let's go. Here's Palpatine.
Tracy's got a great question here. Right there.
Where the guard?
Who paid them to protect the child? If we look at it differently, did someone pay? Could you know who?
Realistically, I think what happened was, I think the rebels sent those out to retrieve the child because it has force, and at this point, there was no known Jedi because they were all eliminated. The last known was Luke Skywalker, and now where is he? Let's also go back and think. There were three. There's three. So, or there's another. You know, there's a.
Well, no, yeah, that was Leia. No, he didn't say there was another. He goes, there's another Skywalker. That's what he said.
But then he also kind of hints
right?
that there's three out there, 3 Force users out there. Realistically, going back, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, Rey's the other one he was referring to." Well, is it really?
Well,
is it
Rey
really?
Could not have been in existence at that time.
Exactly.
Neither Neither could have been Solo.
Exactly. Only reason Ben Solo came about with Force is because Leia and Han went at it, and they had a kid. Well, Leia was Force sensitive, so hi, there's his Force. It also explains why Kyle isn't truly strong, is because he has one parent that's not a Force sensitive.
Now, have you seen the rumors
realistically,
floating around now that
what's
have
that?
you seen the rumors floating around now that Rey and Kylo Ren are actually brother and sister?
Yeah, I think that's disgusting, and I don't believe it.
Well, I think that Leia would have recognized her own daughter and known that she had another daughter out there.
This a long time ago.
Yeah,
I think we would have approached this
Leia
a
would have been
long
like, "Hey,
time
I know
ago.
you. I remember having you."
Exactly.
Who are Rey's parents?
I have no clue. And I have no way to really sit here and say who, because realistically, with that planet, connections to anything that would be Force sensitive, it was just a scavenger planet.
She could have been placed there, though.
She could have. She could have been. She could have been on the destroyer that went down there.
True.
She could have been kidnapped. She could have been on that. We don't get into all this. Star Destroyer pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, it's a long ways away from the Mandalorian, but
yes, Yoda, much to learn we still have. Thank you. God.
much to learn about Rey. Do you think they'll answer all the questions about Rey in episode
Yoda, do you got answers to this? Yes and no.
You think it'll be enough answers to be satisfactory to end the trilogy?
No. And I personally think we might be bringing some characters back to the next trilogy. Honestly. Let's put it this way. You're going to need something to cross over. You're going to need a new fan. You're going to need that old fan and that new fan bases to be sucked into this at the same time. That's what, we sucked Mark Hamill into this and Carrie Fisher. They brought her into this and all that. Anthony Daniels as C-3P. Yeah. Bring them all back. Put new into it. Look at the name of the title of this.
Yeah.
Why would they be Rise of Skywalker? When we're going to defeat it? Obviously, one Skywalker. I mean, are we going to find out she's a Skywalker? Maybe. I mean, you never know. Luke could have had a kid at some point, and crazy thing, we did find out Luke was teaching at Kylo Ren to be a Jedi. Mm-hmm. So obviously there was a whole gap of things that we don't know what Luke was doing before he disappeared.
That's true. And when they showed that clip of him with Kylo Ren, when he talked about he should have killed him then, Ben was not the only one in that barrack. So that gives us the idea that Ben was not the only one that was ever there. I mean, if they would have showed up with just Ben and him, it would have given us the impression that maybe Ben was the only one that ever got trained there.
Right. I mean, you also got Marge H. Skywalker. Everybody forgets about her. Well, she didn't have a kid.
True.
You know, Luke Skywalker's cousin right there. And it's she's the Jedi. So I mean, there's a whole Skywalker timeline that could, you know, like realistically, is the Skywalker bloodline the only Jedi out there?
I don't know. What does Yoda think?
The Force is with you. You are not a Jedi yet. Thank you, Yoda. So maybe Rey's parents are not important if they have, you know, maybe. And kind of thinking that, like, I really don't care if I find out who Rey's parents are. Like, Rey as a Jedi is not strong. She's not a useful tool to the rebels.
At this point in time in the Republic, they're not that strong either. So I think she is a useful tool only because she's
not
strong.
She's a useful tool, but she's not strong. She is not strong. She is not strong to sit there and carry out duties as a Jedi. She cannot go on a solo. Every time she's on a solo mission, they have to come in.
It happened to Luke too. How many successful single missions did Luke have? How many times did Han Solo save his butt?
This is true. This is true.
I mean, it's really following the line of the original trilogy.
Realistically, think about it. And if we're going to go and say that she's her, is the Skywalker line a truly strong Jedi bloodline? I would say no.
No. They're very lucky. I mean, come on, Darth Vader was a bunch of moving parts at the end. He couldn't breathe on his own. Everything was robotic at that point.
Exactly. Even as a Jedi, Anakin was not strong-minded.
No, not at all.
He would never have become an Obi-Wan or a Qui-Gon or Mace Windu or anything like that. You know.
No, well, he could have never become Darth Vader if he was that strong. What made him strong was accepting the dark side. That made him strong. And you know, that tells us that the dark side is actually the stronger side of the Force.
He accepted the dark side from the start because he never wanted to follow the Jedi rules. If he followed the Jedi rules, he would have never had a child.
That's true. But if he didn't have children, we wouldn't have had Darth Vader. He would have had no reason to want that power to bring back life because Palpatine gave him the idea that Amidala was going to die in childbirth, and he wanted to know how to resurrect life, and Palpatine convinced him he could resurrect life, which is absolutely untrue.
But if he listened to the ruling and everything, I think Dooku would have been a lot more powerful. Had a lot. Like Dooku was definitely even going to go behind that, and I think he would have rose up to what Darth Vader would have been plus more.
Okay, am I wrong for saying that casting Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu was a horrible idea? He was great in Pulp. He was great in Pulp Fiction, not great in Star Wars.
He had his moments. I hear that, you know, George Lucas really regretted putting him in because he was complicated to work with. I want my own color lightsaber, different from everybody else's, but realistically, Mace Windu, person. So his attitude and personality did meet up with the characters.
Okay.
You know, sometimes you got to suck it up and work with these people just to represent what you're trying to represent. So,
Tell Yoda I have no more questions at this time for him.
yeah, Yoda, shut up. He brought the purple lightsaber to the table. Yeah, well, realistically, before him, there were no purple lightsabers. That was just basically to shut up Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah, we'll give you a purple lightsaber. Here you go. You see, Mara Jade has a purple lightsaber. That's about it. She, I don't know. Do you know anything about her?
Me, I know very little. I've watched very little of the Clone Wars. That's where she was at,
she's
right?
not
In the Clone Wars?
No, she's from
I've seen
EU,
her.
from the extended universe. She's in comics.
Okay. I
and the
probably read
stuff.
about it
And
then. I know that.
Related
I
to
know
Luke.
her, and I read about her. Okay.
And she was basically she's on the cusp. She's dark side or light side, and she was basically a space mechanic that was a bounty hunter, pirate, you name it, and that's what she is. But realistically, with Jedi powers, and would use the Jedi power for anything. But she did dabble on both sides.
Okay. She was kind of a double agent then.
She would use her powers for her own good, for looting and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I had to go back and look at more of that, but yeah, I want to sit down and watch the Clone Wars. I've heard they're really good, and they help
Watch the Clone Wars,
answer
the
a little
animated
bit.
series. You're talking, yeah.
Yeah.
You need to watch those. They definitely do answer a lot of questions. There's an order too that you should watch them in. I forget the order, but it's online somewhere. You can find it, and it kind of like chronological order. Don't watch the movie because the Clone Wars movie makes no sense. It just shows how Ahsoka came to be, and that's it.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to touch on with the Mandalorian tonight?
No, it's just. I love this. The quote in the last part of this show from this week. You remember what it was?
I just watched it too. I should know.
He's in his ship. He's in his ship flying, and they look over at each other, give the head nod.
And he goes, "I gotta get me one of those.
I gotta get me one of those."
Yeah.
And I also
when he
love
looks
how
at, yeah.
They he took the knob off the the stick and gave it back to the baby. That I was like, all right, that's cool. There we go.
Yeah, because
like,
that all goes right back to that ball has been the center of three important, very important parts with that creature, And when he got on that ship and he reached out, there was nothing there. It was like
Tracy.
He's going back.
Don't think she's legacy right now. She's just an EU character right now, like a supporting character. She was made as a filler. There's a bunch of people that love her a character, this and that, but she really does nothing for Star Wars. Hey, Donna, what's going on? It's all right, Donna.
Hi, Donna. Thanks for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Jonathan, that was a great episode of Rebels. Jonathan, you're more of a Rebels fan, huh? I'm into the Clone Wars, honestly. Like, I can't wait for the new episodes of Clone Wars to come out. If you're gonna watch anything, Tony, the last Clone Wars that's out right now. Oh man, it's deep. It kind of answers a lot of questions right now that with Yoda and things like that, and showing him how Dooku was his apprentice and things like that. So Qui-Gon comes back and things like that. So deep episode. And there's a lot of deep episodes. Yeah.
Let me take you back a little bit. Before the Clone Wars, Darth Maul. Should they have eliminated him so quickly?
Not at all.
I think that his character could have been such a great. I think you could do an entire movie on his whole backstory, because I think that I think that he basically was a nobody. Correct.
Basically, him and his brother lived on a planet. He has a twin brother.
That's what I thought. Yep, and Palpatine just found him and started grooming him.
Right. So, realistically, they do kind of bring him back in the Clone Wars series. I know you haven't seen it. I mean, it was also where they show how Darth Maul comes back, but as like a creature form. So you definitely need a series, because it definitely gets into more of this. What you're saying right now, it does happen. So
yeah, I think they could tell they could make, they've made Solo, they've scrapped the Boba Fett idea. I think something that would really go over well, especially with the Star Wars, not Disney fan base, would be something with Darth Maul. I think his character was very intriguing. I think that he was not the person that they portrayed completely. I think that he was very misunderstood as a as a character. I think they tried to make him more devious than what he was. I think that there's a whole story they could tell from this that I think would be a great movie.
Yeah, it definitely would be. It definitely would be. Jonathan, thanks. Yeah, that exactly right, Jonathan. That's exactly that with Maul.
Now, I don't know if everybody in here is also subscribed to Danny as well, but he just announced last night that he is getting media tomorrow at Six Flags over Georgia. And Danny, would you like to go ahead with that if anybody missed it?
Yeah. So Jess and I actually received an email that says that we're on media coverage for Six Flags over Georgia. For Media Day, covering Holiday in the Park. If you don't know what Holiday in the Park is, it's fun. It's their Christmas event that they have lights all over the park. The rides are open and everything, and the characters are dressed up. Their holiday best, things like that, and the food. I'm so excited about the food. I really hope they give me free food tomorrow.
Nothing better than free food,
especially from a theme park. Especially a pretzel covered in candy cane that you can dip in chocolate. Oh man, I'm so waiting to try that.
You can send that to my PO box, right?
Yeah, sure. Might be, pieces missing, but
Well, I'll be okay with that. No,
Thanks,
when you
Donna.
said
I
that last
appreciate
night,
that.
I definitely wanted to bring that up and tonight. I mean, because not everybody gets a chance to see at midnight. That was really awesome.
Exactly. Not only am I doing it, Miguel's doing it too. So
Did Miguel get media too? Because he didn't say anything when he was in here.
he sure did.
So yes,
He sure
Miguel is doing it tomorrow too. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Both
He sure did.
well deserved.
Donna, right? Free food is good, especially when it's from a theme park. So we'll see what happens. You know, I get my media badge and all that for the event tomorrow. So definitely going to be a video on that coming up. Definitely going to be a video on that.
Is
What
there
you got coming
anywhere
up,
else
Tony?
you want to go with this tonight? Me, I've got this every Sunday for right now.
There we go. That's a start.
You know, eventually start hitting
That's
that record button.
Mm-hmm.
But this is working for me right now. Just get my feet
That's
wet.
fine. Play. Get
It's
noticed,
really enjoyable.
You know? There we go.
I mean, I appreciate everybody that's come in here tonight. I've had a great time. I hope we've entertained you. I hope everybody's had a good time. And I hope that everybody comes back next week to watch us on
Thanks, Jonathan.
Miguel's channel.
That's horrible, Jonathan. Why would you say that? I'm hoping that they have this thing that they had last year in the park. Miguel, if you can in chat, did you see they had the holiday meal in a cup in the park? I want to know. I want to know because what it is for those, it's a cup with I'll go like on the bottom there's like apple pie, and then it goes to turkey, cranberry sauce, stuffing, gravy, all that in a cup, and it's just a holiday dinner in a cup. And it sounds so good. Yeah, the Danny Dentist. Thanks. I need a Hermie. That's what you're looking for, Jonathan. A Hermie from Rudolph. But
okay, well, Miguel, we're sorry you weren't able to finish the show with us either.
it's but it's okay. Miguel has some awesome things coming up too. He's got, like I said, with the coverage and everything, so he'll have a video from that too.
You guys both have media coming up tomorrow, Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff on Tuesdays. And
Okay,
I didn't
Miguel
put
said he
anything in
didn't.
for what's that?
Miguel said he didn't find the holiday meal in a cup, but they might be adding it for the event in December. And what are you adding, Tony?
And Jess's Wednesday night geek out. Is that correct? Wednesday night?
No, it's actually Monday night. No, it's
Monday night.
Jess goes live Monday nights. Obviously not this week because we'll. Hold on, Jess, you doing anything? You gonna go live from the park or something maybe? Jess may. I don't know, Jess. The event goes until 10, so I don't know. Tomorrow night, Jess may go live tomorrow night. We'll leave it at that. We're not sure, but it depends on what time we get back night. So.
Okay, and then Wednesday night, whose channel are we on this week for that? That is Theme Park Fix, and if you're not subscribed to both of them, and if you've never been to that, that is a lot of fun. They talk about a different theme park every week, and this week is Canada's Wonderland. So, okay, I didn't know if you guys had decided on that or not.
So, Miguel, we're still doing. Are we doing? I think we should just do. Blake Miguel, what do you say? If you agree, just drop it in chat. I know we discussed that. It sounds like that's what. It's fine with me.
Then, of course, on Saturday nights, you have this every Saturday night.
Exactly. That's just our hangout.
And
I can't even tell you what we do. We just do it. It's always something random at midnight with us. It's a lot of fun.
And it might be even less random than this.
I don't know about that. But that's fine. Not only for us, but for our viewers.
And remember, guys, thank you so much for coming in. If you're new here, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate everybody that's come in tonight. And Danny, is there anything else you need to add tonight?
There's nothing I need to add. Except thanks for being here, guys.
We really appreciate it. Well, if that's all, I think we're going to sign off for the night, and we'll see you next Sunday night at 9:30 on Miguel's channel for another week of World of Randomness. Everybody have a great night.
Be there.